welcome to another lesson with your teacher, Javid Wilson. Now today, I have a very close friend of mine here. His name is Mark, and we are going to take a very good look at him today to see what exactly he's capable of doing. What I have here is a piece of pineapple. So I'm going to give this to Mark. Right. So there you go. So Mark is eating. So while he's eating, I have a question for you. Now, what do you think would happen if we try chewing some food and we didn't have any teeth? Or, think about this. Can you try, or can you think about swallowing this apple whole? Do you think it's possible to swallow this entire apple without chewing it? All right, so today we're going to find out exactly. So let's take back the food from Mark. Let's imagine that he ate it. We're going to find out today, or we're going to talk a little bit more about the digestive system. So before we move on, we're going to take a closer look at our objectives. When the class is finished, there are some things I expect you guys to answer for me. One of them is that you're going to explain the concept of the digestive system, explain the function, and at least 4 of the system's main parts. And last, I appreciate the importance of the digestive system. Now, the digestive system, you can take a closer look at this. Let's take a closer look at it, and we'll take each part by itself. Now, the digestive system consists of a number of organs. And if you look carefully here, you will see them there. And these organs help with the breaking down of food. I'm just going to remove this part right here. Don't mind if you see any part of it falling out. Now, these organs, they carry out various functions. And these functions ensure that whatever we eat, whatever Mark eats, it is digested and the body makes complete use of it. Now, I'm going to show you this system on your screen. So you're going to look on the screen for your system. You have there the salivary glands, you have the esophagus, the mouth, the liver, the stomach, the gallbladder, the pancreas, large intestines, small intestines, the appendix, rectum, and the anus. All you're going to do, we're going to take each one by itself, and we're going to look closely to see exactly their functions. Let's move on. Now, in digestion, you saw earlier when I placed a piece of pineapple into Mark's mouth. Now, with mechanical digestion, this involves the physical breaking down of food. So what will happen is that you will see food going from this on my left here, which are the slices. Let me just hold one up for you so you can see it properly. This right here. So with mechanical digestion, food will go from this to this. And this is because the teeth will help to break down food into these smaller pieces. Now, with chemical digestion, what happens really there is that this involves the mixture of chemicals. So after the teeth will do the cutting and the tearing, you will find that, give me one moment, please. You will find that chemicals will mix in the stomach to further break down the food. Now let's start all over again so we can see exactly where it starts and where it will finish. So what you can see here is the mouth. Inside here is where mechanical digestion takes place. Now the food will pass through here and it will go down to the esophagus. So let's take a look at our esophagus now. Let's take a look at our esophagus. Now the esophagus, this is the muscular tube that carries chewed food from the mouth down to the stomach. Now you're going to ask yourself, how come the food goes down to the esophagus? Now there's a process called peristalsis. Now it's the contraction and relaxation of this esophagus muscle right here that causes the food to go down through this muscle right here, which you're going to see right there. Now if I backtrack a little bit, we're going to go back to the mouth. We're going to go back to the mouth. This food that you're seeing here, that is being chewed here, this contains saliva. Saliva. And this is produced from the salivary gland, just to make sure you guys remember that. So let's move on to the stomach. So after the food leaves the esophagus, you can see it right there, as highlighted on the screen right there, the esophagus, the muscular tube right there, it will go down straight to, take this out, it will go down to the stomach, right? So as it goes down there are some acids found inside of the stomach. One of these acids is called hydrochloric acid. So for example, if by chance you're eating a plate of food and for some good reason that there's bacteria in that food, the hydrochloric acid would help to get rid of that acid found in the food. Now, enzymes that break down protein and fats, that hydrochloric acid also does that. Now, that food right there that is broken down into the stomach, it is stored somewhere until it's ready for a next set of digestion. I'm going to ask somebody, can somebody tell me where do you think that food is stored? Think about it. Where do you think that food is stored? Right, so it's stored in the stomach until it's ready to go through the small intestines. So let's look at the small intestines. Let's look at the small intestines. Right. The small intestines is the part of the intestines where about 90% of digestion takes place. So I took it out for you, so you can have a very close look at it. See right there? So this is it right here. So let's backtrack a little bit, right? Now in the stomach, digestion takes place. If we need to go back a bit more, we'll understand and we'll learn that it started in the mouth. But how much of digestion takes place in the mouth? How much of it takes place in the stomach? And we are learning here that about 90% of digestion takes place in the small intestines. Now, you might ask yourself, how long are the small intestines? Now I'm going to show you. Take a look at this, I want you to look at it very, very, very carefully. So it said it's about 6 to 7 meters long. So you're going to pull. So for those persons who don't know or who don't have any idea of what 6 to 7 meters is, you're going to look. Just keep going and going and going. See how long the small intestines are? Carefully. Going and going. Almost there. Almost there, almost there, until it is finished. So there you go. It says there that the small intestine is about 6 to 7 meters long. Now the main function of the small intestine is really and truly to absorb the nutrients from this pineapple, from this food right here. You understand? So the stomach kills the bacteria, makes the food a little smaller, but the small intestine will now extract the nutrients found in the pineapple. Now, where do you think the food will go after it leaves the small intestine? Where do you think it will go? Let's find out. It will move on to the large intestine. So let's look at it carefully. It says water, mineral salts, and vitamins are absorbed here from undigested food. The remaining waste are stored in the rectum until it can be digested through the anus in the form of feces. So if we backtrack a little bit more, we started in the mouth, went through the esophagus, came down to the stomach, through the small intestines, and now we are in the large intestines. Take a closer look at the large intestines right there. And you see the size of it? You can see the size of it, right? There you go. So you notice for sure that in the large intestines, less digestion takes place inside there. You can see that, right? Now, I'm going to take you back to the pancreas. The pancreas. I'm going to look at it very carefully. Now, the pancreas is an organ that produces pancreatic juice. Now, this contains enzymes that will help or further break down food. Now, what I want you guys to remember is that the juice is delivered to the small intestine via the pancreatic duct. The pancreatic duct is, I will show you a picture of it shortly. Now, I want you to note carefully here that the pancreas is not technically a part of the alimentary canal. Just to be clear on that, all right? But it's also considered as a digestive organ. Now, let's look at the liver. The liver is very, very, very important in the process of digestion. The liver produces something called bile. Now, bile is an alkaline fluid that is stored in the gallbladder before being released into the small intestines. So you see here that these organs, they work together. And the main function here is to ensure that food is broken down, and it's absorbed so that the body can benefit from all the nutrients that you get from food. Now, note here that bile does not contain enzymes. Bile also helps to break down fat. I guess you'll be wondering where bile comes from. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you where bile comes from. Look carefully at the green balloon-looking thingy right there, the gallbladder. Balloon-looking. Look at it carefully. Now, the gallbladder stores bile until it is needed. Now, it is released when needed via the bile duct into the small intestine. So look at it very carefully. So what you can see there is the gallbladder filled with bile. You can see that there, right? Wonderful. Right, so let's just backtrack one more time. We have the mouth. You can see right here. The food goes through here. Mechanical digestion takes place here. Contraction, relaxation, peristalsis, that's the process. The esophagus, it goes down here into the stomach. Let me just put this back up for you so you can see what I'm talking about there. When it reaches it, the small intestines. We said earlier that 90% of digestion will take place in this area right here. The food will leave this area and go to the large intestines. Right there. Right? So let's do a quick review of what we just discussed. We have the mouth. And can somebody tell me what is the main responsibility of the mouth? Right, so receive food, start mechanical digestion. The esophagus carries through food from the mouth to the stomach. Right, very good. And how about the stomach? Food is mixed with gastric juices. The small intestines, absorption of nutrients and minerals from food. The large intestines, water, mineral salts, and vitamins are absorbed here from undigested food. And the rectum, we know, stores food. Now, we're going to test your knowledge. Let me see exactly what you guys learned from today's class. Test your knowledge. So what you're going to do for me, I'm going to give you 60 seconds in which you're going to label the parts of the digestive system. And you're going to label 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11. I'm going to give you 60 seconds starting now. Go ahead. you go. You had to label 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11. So let's start with number 2. Who can tell me the part label number 2? I'm hearing the tongue. It's actually not a bad guess, but it's the teeth. Let's look at the next one, number 5. What will be number 5? Look at it carefully. That one is easy. Remember the word peristalsis? Contraction, relaxation. Very good. The esophagus. Absolutely correct. Number 6. What is number 6? I'm hearing liver. Wonderful. Number 7. That should be the easiest one. Number 7. Right. In there, you have a mixture of hydrochloric acid that helps to break down fats and so on. And that is the what? The stomach. Wonderful. How about number 8? Look at number 8 carefully. Right, the pancreas. Very good. Number 10. To me, it's the very most important part of this system. As we stated earlier, that 90% of digestion takes place here. The small intestines. Absolutely correct. And the last one, number 11. Number 11, the rectum. Very good. Right, so I'm going to show you something. You're going to check your answers. Let's go. So if you got 7 out of 7, you're going to own a free pass, a free library pass. So you can go to the library, 12:30, whichever time you can go, and you can get to read books and so on, look at videos. If you got 5 out of 7, you just made it. So maybe you need to revise your notes. But here comes the bad part. If you got 3 out of 7, you're going to have tutorials with Mrs. King. And I'm telling you that. You don't want to have class with Mrs. King. So please. So there you have it, all right, guys? So make sure you spend some time reviewing your work. And always remember to tune in to VC3 for more science lessons with Mr. Javid Wilson. See you next time.